What's up, folks? Welcome to Mindset Tabletop. I'm Matt McCann, and this is part 4 of the collection, Heavy Euro Games. So let's start up here with Unconscious Mind. This is a game about psychotherapy. The players are playing as followers of Freud, which is not problematic at all, discussing his theories, writing treatises, and treating patients. These patients have dreams that we are interpreting that represent their trauma. We are trying to remove that trauma and cure each patient. And we're doing this through worker placement and engine building. But I want to get to my favorite part of this game, which is on the personal player board, you have an ink bottle. And after you do your worker placement action, you're going to move that bottle based on the movement that you get from the action. And whatever space you land on, you're going to trigger the effects in that row. Throughout the game, you are placing tiles in that row that give you more effects. So you're building up this engine of, okay, when I want to get all these types of resources, I can land on this spot and it'll trigger a chain reaction that gets me a bunch of stuff that I really like. This is a very heavy game. It was a long teach. This was the last game that I played at Dice Tower West. And we played for probably about, with the teach, my brain was absolutely fried. But we finished up the game with 15 minutes left of gameplay in the convention. It was 11:45 when we stopped. So we literally closed out gameplay at the convention with this game. And I absolutely loved it. I bought it on a whim because it was on sale at the con. And it just looked so cool. I was like, you know what, I can't pass this up. So I grabbed it and had someone teach me the game, and they were really great. But yeah, the real hook of this game is the little bit of engine building that gives you those chain reactions that give you the different resources and stuff that you want, or allow you to take extra actions, move around the city, that type of stuff. So yes, I definitely recommend Unconscious Mind, a really good, beautiful heavy Euro game. And next up, we have Tekhenu. Now, this is the first T game that I'm going to cover in my collection. The T games are a series put out by Board and Dice with the main designer, Daniele Taschini, who is my favorite designer. There are other designers on the project, but there are 5 or 6 at least T games. I have 4 of them, so I'm going to be covering them today. Tekhenu Obelisk of the Sun is a fascinating game about nobles in ancient Egypt building the temple of Amun-Ra. You're going to take a die from the obelisk and gain resources or take a god action. The god actions are all around the board and they do different things. These are the different ways that you're going to be scoring. You're going to get statues, you're going to get pillars, buildings, you're going to be making your people happier, you're going to be gaining these cards, which is like a set collection thing, and making workshops and quarries. The hook about this game and the thing that made me interested in it in the first place was the obelisk rotation. So in order to symbolize the sun going around the obelisk, you're actually going to turn the obelisk itself. The obelisk has 2 little small sections that are twilight, then it has daytime, and then it has nighttime. When the nighttime comes around, it's going to make certain dice unavailable. When the light comes around, it's going to push certain dice up to what's called pure. So that is a very, very interesting mechanism. It's basically every 2 rounds, you're going to turn the obelisk a little bit, and the position of those dice are going to change. So when you draft those dice, the effect will be different or nothing at all. So you need to plan ahead and you need to think about where are these dice going to be in 2 rounds? What actions do I need to take and how do I get the most powerful actions from the dice that I'm drafting? Tekhenu is fascinating. It is fun. And it's a really, really cool T game. So next up is Teletum, and this is one of the newer T games. And this one I have only really delved into a little bit. I still need to really learn this game. This could almost be on my shelf of shame because I haven't gotten through a full game of this yet. For some reason, it's not speaking to me as clearly as the other T games did. But basically, this is you're playing as a merchant family in Renaissance Europe. You're trying to create these trade networks and help build cathedrals in the city to kind of just bring up your reputation in the community. You're rolling the dice and placing them around this wheel, and you're drafting dice, kind of similar to Tekhenu, except there's a little inverse system. So when you draft a die, you're going to take resources equal to the amount of pips on the die, and then you're going to activate the action with the inverse. So say you get a 1, you're going to get 1 resource, and then you're going to do the action 6 times. Or if you get a 2, you're going to get 2 resources, and you're going to do the action 5 times. There are architect actions that allow you to move and place pillars. There's merchant actions where help you build houses. Yeah, I don't know much more about it than that. So I've got to really kind of crack this one, and I'm going to dig into Talatum further. But the thing that called to me was that this is a game about a lot of chain reactions, that you're going to be getting more and more powerful turns as you go through the game. And I love that as a feature for a game. So I'm excited to see what Talatum has to reveal. Next up is Trismegistus, which has been to this point my most thinky game in my collection. Now, that may be rivaled by Unconscious Mind, but Trismegistus is definitely a brain burner. This is a game where you are playing as alchemists and you are trying to perform experiments. You're gaining and you're transmuting metals to do these experiments. You're discovering artifacts along the way, and you do all this by drafting dice with various alchemical symbols. You're going to refine and transmute metals into more valuable metals. You're going to pay essences to do all of this. And the goal is to master the 4 elements, to be the best of these scientists. So you're going to roll the dice in the beginning, and then you're going to sort them by their alchemical symbols, and then you're going to put them in their little bays that match the symbol. Then when you take turns drafting those dice, the power of that die is going to be how many of that die were in that little bay. So you want to draw die. If you want a more powerful die, you're going to have to draw from a bay that has a lot of dice in it. If you really want to do a specific action, but you can deal with it being a little bit weaker, you can go where there are fewer dice. But that's part of the strategy, is picking the die and making sure it's powerful enough to do the things that you want to do, so that you can move along these tracks, transmute metals along the color track that matches your die, and complete these experiments, putting these books into the library, filling that in. And then when you fill in an entire row or column, you get the bonuses on either side of those things. So again, a Euro game where you're doing all these different actions, you're drafting dice to take different actions to score points in different ways. And in the end, hopefully you win. Trismegistus, Trismo, is definitely a thinky game. It's one of the harder ones to get to the table because it's sort of an opaque teach, but it is really, really fun once you get it down. It's awesome when you pick the right die and really have a great round and get a lot done. It's very, very rewarding because this is definitely a tough game. Trismegistus coming. And Underwater Cities. So here you can see I have the expansion, New Discoveries. So here I have the base box and the expansion box. I have been able to actually fit the entire game into the New Discoveries box. But I just wanted to show you that that expansion literally is as big as the original game. Comes with a lot of stuff. It's another one of those big box expansions like Orleans Invasion. Very worth it if you like this game. It is a really, really fun game. Underwater Cities is sort of, again, a worker placement / engine building and hand management game. And what you're doing is you are playing a token out onto a specific space which has an action that you want to do. That action could be, building a city or building a support building or building a tunnel or all these different things that you can do. But then you're going to also play a card. Now, if that card matches the color of the space, you're going to get the benefit of the card. If it doesn't, you're just going to be taking the action by itself. There are going to be instances where you're going to want to do this, where it's going to be worth sacrificing the card just to take that action because you're pretty sure your opponent's going to go for it, or it's your last move for the round and you absolutely need it. So this is definitely, again, a planning ahead. You've only got 3 cards in your hand. It's really difficult to decide which cards to keep and which to play and when to play them. So it's definitely a thinky worker placement game, but pretty straightforward. Once you learn it, you can pretty much discover that it's all right there on the board and you can kind of figure out what to do. So again, yeah, you're taking an action, you're playing the card. If the card matches the color of the action, you're going to get the benefit of that card. You're going to take free actions. You're building cities, you're connecting the cities, you're building support plants. that help you during the production phases. You're going to go through 10 rounds in this game, and on 4, 7, and 10, there's a production phase where every building that you have is going to produce something for you. You're going to get money based on the cities and the tunnels and the buildings that you have. And then at the end of the game, you're going to produce one more time, score everything up, and then that is the end of the game. And yeah, it ends at the last production. This is a game that I've played many, many times with my friend Jen. It's one of our favorites. It's come back to the table time and time again. So that is Underwater Cities, a really awesome worker placement, engine building, heavy Euro. Okay, folks, so we're going to take a break here after the first half of the heavy Euro games, and I'll be back with part 2 very soon. Again, I apologize for not having photos of everything. My computer went down recently, and they are trapped in a hard drive that I cannot access. So I'm going to give you as much information and as many pictures as I possibly can as I go through here. But yeah, just bear with me. I've lost a lot of content. Thank you so much for sticking around. Leave a like down below if you liked the video today, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But most importantly, leave a comment down below. Which is your favorite of these games? And what is your favorite heavy Euro game? And is there anything else that you would like to see me cover here on the channel in the future? Let me know, folks. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great evening, and I will see you in the second half of Heavy Euro Games.